Hey guys, Jmann from CollectionDX here doing a video review of the Unrustable Bastards. Technically this figure doesn't really have a name. I think it goes by MM01. Originally, these guys were supposed to be released as two separate figures. The main character of the franchise, Iride, and then another main character, Captain Burley. But in the end they decided to just make one figure but give you all of the accessories for both of those characters so you can mix and match and do whatever you want. So this figure was originally a Kickstarter, so all of us original backers got to see this evolved from a concept to an actual physical product. Normally I don't go into detail about the boxes, but I really like this box. You know, it's full of art, plus you can clearly see that this is the Kickstarter edition. I'm not sure if this will be the same box that you receive if you order this figure from any of the retailers that are stocking them. But hey, you know, for me, that's a nice little touch. Helps remind me of where I spent all of my money. Alright, so here is the bastard in all of his glory. This is almost exactly how he will look when you take him out of the box, except I attached his shotguns to the front of the motorcycle because there are these tiny little clips here, and you can clip any of his weapons to them because that's awesome. So the first thing you'll see when you open up the box is that there is a ton of orange. A lot of orange. It's not quite as bad when he's in motorcycle mode, but whenever you transform him, you will see he is almost entirely orange. And that's probably got to be one of my only nitpicks, is that there isn't a whole lot of painted detail on him. It's basically just molded plastic. And while yes, there are some painted details like the tailpipes and the wheels, but for the most part it's just plastic and one really nice tampo. And so you can clearly see he is an unrustable bastard. So, details of the bike in bike mode. It is a pretty standard motorcycle. It does roll pretty well because it does sort of balance on itself. So, you know, you can roll him around, not worry about him really falling over too bad. I like playing with my toys. But hey, a motorcycle isn't anything without the rider, so let's rip the rider out of his seat. And I'm pulling on him a bit hard because one of the neat features about this set is that there is a peg on the seat. And it will peg into his back so he can sit down without any worries. Okay, so the rider is a pretty standard 3 3/4 inch action figure due to the nature of his transformation, since he becomes the chest in the fully transformed robot mode. He is hyperposable, so, you know, he can get his legs up all the way around. There are ball joints everywhere. You can even get some really hardcore ab crunch in there. You can break his neck as much as you want. Double joints everywhere. Ball jointed everything else. The ankles are on a ball joint, so he can do a fair amount of stuff. So you can get him into some pretty decent poses. And the fact that he comes with some tiny pistols just for himself is a really nice added touch. But hey, let's go ahead and get him transformed. For the most part, everything just sort of folds away into a tiny little ball. But you need to spin the waist around and then also spin the legs back around just a little bit. And so you fold the legs up all the way, and there's a small little tab that you can see on this side. Oh, if I can get him to tab in the way I want him to. There we go. So that tabs in nicely. So now that you got those tabbed up, you just push the chest up. The head needs to stay back there like a little jerk. And there are 2 tabs on the chest. And so those will tab in also fairly easily. Boom. Oh, that was a nice little click. That one was not as nice of a click. But it is tabbed in all the same. The arms don't really matter that much. They don't tab in anywhere, but it doesn't really hurt anything. And one thing you also want to do is you want to flip the feet back. So you have something like this. Okay, so transforming the bike seems a bit daunting at first, but it's actually pretty simple. The first thing you're going to want to do is untab the arms. There are 2 tabs along the side here and right over in here that you'll need to untab, and then you can push the arms out and sort of get them out of the way. That's sort of the first order of business, getting the arms out of the way. The next order of business is just sort of untabbing everything, because almost everything tabs in. And if you're like me and you transform the legs a weird way, you're going to want to spin the legs around. Once you have the hips down, we're going to go ahead and finish transforming the legs, which is as simple as folding the feet out. Do that on both sides. And you can see we're starting to take shape. And you want to take these side pieces and make sure they are off to the side. Okay, so now for the big jumbled up terrifying part. Almost everything up here is on a separate set of swivels. So you're going to want to make sure this yellow piece is pulled up to the front. The middle area with the arms are pulled to the back, and the area with the head and handlebars are pulled to the back like that. Then you can start to see the robot taking shape. I'm just moving the arms out of the way. You can take these little look like little solenoids or something, pop those around, get those out of the way. Then you're going to want to pull the back section up like so. I like to fold the handlebars around so you can flip them. And I like to get all of the mirrors on the far side. And then you just prepare the head by flipping that around, and he's going to be ready to roll fairly soon. But before we can do that, we're going to want to take this middle portion and sort of feed it through this little hole where the head is, and make sure it comes through like that. I'm getting the shotguns out of the way because I decided to transform him with the shotgun still attached. And so the middle piece, if you haven't done it already, actually tabs into place so that it is ready for the rider. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to push this little thing over the side, move the hands out of the way, push that back. Now he's got a hand. Do the same thing on the other side. Okay, now that all of that is done, we are now ready for the chest piece, which is the rider himself. There is a peg. Sometimes it's easier to push the head out of the way. Peg it in like that. Push the head back down. Then you're going to start pegging everything in together. There are 2 pegs on the side that peg into the side of the chest, along with the main peg on the back. Then you're going to want to flip the ab piece over, so make sure that the feet are to the back and the orange little pegs go inside there. Or you can pretty much do what you want with the feet. I like it this way because it makes it look nice, in my opinion. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is make sure this thing is still threaded back there. We're going to push the head back down, and there's a small peg that pegs into the ball joint of the head. And that tabs into place like so. And then you can sort of finagle everything else around to your liking. And there we have a fully transformed Robot Man. He's about the average size of a Voyager class Transformer, if you're familiar with Transformer scales. He actually looks really good from pretty much all angles. There are a few gaps in the chest, but the feet help cover that up a little bit. But for the most part, everything tabs in. He's very solid. Like, I can shake him around like this, and he is still totally transformed. You know, nothing's come undone. It's pretty cool. I'll go into the articulation. So articulation is pretty good. Ball joint in the head, neck area. There's a waist swivel. There's like a million joints on the arms, double joints. The fingers are individually articulated at 2 points, so he can claw things if he wants. The legs are on several swivels. Move forward, they can move back. They can split, obviously, because that's part of the transformation. There is kind of a double jointed knee, but single joint. And it's really nice because the sculpt actually follows through to about 90 degrees. Then once you go beyond that, then it stops. But if you want to fake it and make it look like there's even more, you can always move the foot back around the wheel and do something kind of like that. But you generally don't have to. There's also a thigh swivel, and the ankles are on ball joints, so they can move up and down and side to side really nicely. Not so much outwards, but inwards. So he can get some nice splayed-legged poses, even though this is a terrible looking pose. But you get the idea. You know, he's super posable. He can do anything you could possibly want. And so that sort of brings me to his accessories. Okay, so he comes with a good amount of accessories. He's got a couple of shotguns, couple pistols, and even a chainsaw gun? I'm not really sure what this is, but it's awesome. And all of the guns have handles that move in and out, or whatever you'd like. I kind of showed these off whenever he was in motorcycle mode earlier. For motorcycle mode, I just like to pull those down and then attach them in. But he also comes with a couple of alternate chest pieces, but these are kind of boring, so I immediately pulled them off and attached the black vented chest pieces because I think they're much cooler. He also comes with a spare head for the rider. This is the Captain Burley head. He looks a lot like Cup, if you guys are a fan of Transformers. But it also comes with 4 different faces for the combined mode. The one that comes pre-installed is the skull face. And in order to switch out faces, you actually have to get a screwdriver once again and unscrew the back of his head, pop the face in, and then screw it back. Unfortunately, there's no easier way to do that. However, he comes with another normal face, but this one has either a scar or a tear? I'm not really sure what that is. But anyway, it's an interesting looking face because it's got eyes. I prefer the version of this face with the visor, and so that's the one that I put on mine. And the last face he comes with is sort of like another battle helmet face thing. So it's like a little visor. I believe this is Iride's default visor. So, overall, if you are a fan of transforming motorcycle guys, I highly recommend picking one of these up. I saw the concept photos and I immediately fell in love. And this figure did not disappoint. If you were one of the original Kickstarter backers, it did take a bit longer than they anticipated. They'd anticipated it would take about a year and a half. It ended up taking about 2 years from, concept to arriving on your doorstep. But for the most part, this is definitely a Kickstarter success, in my opinion, seeing as how I actually got an item out of it, and it was awesome. And I'm pretty sure several other retail stores are actually stocking these guys. I don't know offhand which ones, but hey, if I find any stores that actually have him for sale, I will be listing those in the video. Should be popping up any second now, where my fingers were. But yes, I'm definitely impressed. I love this figure, and if you are fine with the Transformers Masterpiece-esque price point of this figure, then I think you won't be disappointed. However, the $120 plus shipping is a bit steep. But for the fact that this is an independent toy with this much engineering at this quality, I'm not disappointed. In fact, I'm very pleased. If you manage to pick one up, I don't think you'll be disappointed. And if my weird transformation section didn't really do it for you, feel free to check out Bobby Skullface's review. He did a fantastic review. He released it a couple of days ago. The man is a beast. He got on this quick. Thanks you guys for watching. This has been Jmann. For the full written review, check out CollectionDX.com. And I will see you guys later.